times 10 raised to power 3, 10 raised to power 5. So automatically this one becomes A will now be 2 times 10 raised to power minus 2 by law of indices, and A then becomes 0.02. So our first term is now 0.02, and that is what the question asks us to look for. Then the question 2, a GP has first term A common ratio R, and its sixth term is 768. Question 2, GP1. We have GP1, and GP1 has the first term to be equals to A, the common ratio to be equals to R. The first term to be equals to A, the common ratio to be equals to R. Then the second GP, and it has a system. The system is equal to 768. Then the second GP has GP2. The GP2 has the first term to be equals to A, the common ratio to be equals to 6R. The common ratio is equal to 6R, and its third term is equal to 3,456. Third term, which is AR squared, is equal to 3,456. The question asks us to evaluate A and R. The question asks us to evaluate A and R. Here, since the common ratio is 6R, then we can, let's call this equation 1 and call this equation 2. From equation 2, our R is 6R. Automatically we can write 6R raised to power 2 equals to 3, 4, 5, 6. Then when we evaluate this, we have A to be equal to times 36R squared, which is equal to 3456. Now, then from here we can deduce that 36AR squared is equal to 3, 4, 5, 6. Then, and remember that our AR squared is 3, 4, 5, 6. So the continuation from here, we have AR squared to be equal to 3, 4, 5, 6 divided by 36. And when we use our calculator to determine this, we have AR squared to be equals to 96. So let's call this equation 3. Now we have, let's call this equation 3. Then from here we know that from equation 1, which has AR raised to power 5, which is equals to 768. So this one can be written as AR raised to power 3 times AR squared by law of indices, which gives 768. And remember, this one can also be written as AR squared times AR cubed, which is equal to 768. And remember that AR square is 96. So I will from equation 3 we substitute, then we have 96 times AR cube, which equals to 768. So your AR cube can be calculated by dividing both sides by 96. So when we divide both sides by 96, we are going to have 768 divided by 96. So this cancel, then R cube now becomes 768 divided by 96 gives 8. So our R can now be cube root of 8, which is now 2. Our common ratio is now 2. And the question asks us to also evaluate A. So how can we now calculate our A? From equation 1. From equation 1, which says that AR raised to the power 5 equals to 768. Then, since our R is 2, so we can say that A times 2 raised to the power 5, which is now equals to 768. Then 2 raised to the power 5 is 32. So 32 times 8 becomes 32A, which gives 768. So we divide both sides by 32, and that gives, so 768 divided by 32 gives 24. So our A will now be 24. And since the question asks us to evaluate A and R, so our A is 24 while our R is 2. So this is the answer to question 2. Question 3. The sum of infinity of a GP is 60. Question 3 gave us that the sum of infinity or sum to infinity of a GP is 60. If the first term of the series is 12, so our first term is given as 12, find its second term. We have to look for the second term, and the second term has the formula AR. The question asks us to look for the second term. So definitely the first thing we have to do, since we know our A, is to calculate our R, which is the common ratio. And recall that sum to infinity is equal to A over 1 minus R. And since the sum to infinity is given as 60, which is now equals to our A, which is 12, over 1 minus R. So when we cross multiply this, we have 60 into 1 minus R, which is equal to 12 times 1, which is 12. So then we can now say that 1 minus R affected by 60, which is now equals to 12. We divide both sides by 60. So when we divide both sides by 60, we are going to have 1 minus R, 60. We divide this by 60 and we divide 12 by 60. So this one cancels this. You have 1 minus R, then gives 12 here 1, 12 here 5. So we have 5. Then our R, 1 minus R now gives 5. Then our R, minus R will be 5 minus 1. So minus R will definitely be 4. So our R will now be minus 4. So our R is minus 4. And since the question asks us to determine second term, our second term, which is now AR, will now be equals to the first term, which is 12, times the R, which is minus 4. And this gives us minus 48. So this is the answer for the to the third question, which asks us to find the second term, and our second term is minus 48. The fourth question says the second and fifth term of a GP are minus 7 and 56 respectively. So the fourth question is talking about the second term. The second term and the fifth term. The second term, which is denoted by AR, and while the fifth term is denoted by AR raised to power 4. So the question gave us the second term to be -7, while the fifth term to be 56. Here, it can be deduced that this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. From equation 2, we have AR times AR raised to power 3 by law of indices equals to 56. And since our AR from equation 1 is -7, so we can substitute that. Then we'll have this equals to 56. Dividing both sides by -7. So when we divide both sides by -7, we're going to have 56 divided by -7, and this gives 8. Why this cancel this? So R cubed now equals -8. So our R will now be cube root of the -8, which gives -2. Which gives -2. And the question asks us to deduce a common ratio. So the common ratio is